How do I shoot both stills and video on the same set? Today, we're gonna take a look at the simplest and most cost-effective way to approach this, using continuous light. This also gives me the opportunity to discuss the new Godox, LiteMons, bicolor, and RGBW COB lights. This is the perfect light for creators, but today, I'm gonna put them through their paces as I answer the question shooting stills and video on the same set. The LiteMons consist of an LA300R and an LA150R, as well as an LA300BI. The R is short for RGBW, giving you access to built-in gel effects and a vast array of colors. I'm excited to show you how I use them on a shoot later on. But first, let's talk about the lights. The LA300BI doesn't give you the gel effects of the R, but it is bicolor, so you can still adjust your color from warm to cool. The user interface is simple. Turning and pressing the dial allows you to change and select the menu and modes without needing a second hand. The thing I like the most is the integration with an app that gives you full control over the lights. I could stand on set and easily adjust each light without having to walk over to them. You have CCT mode, where you can easily control color temperature, green and magenta shift, as well as intensity. Green and magenta shift is only on the R models. You have HSI mode with a color wheel to quickly change between colors or simply dial in your hue and saturation. You have RGB mode, in which you can manually mix the percentage of red, green, blue, and white. I find this helpful when trying to get the most saturated primaries a fixtures can produce. You also have color filter mode, in which you can choose from Roscoe and Lee filters in order to get the best match. Then you also have the access to the effects menu with over 14 programmed effects from fire to police lights. You can also use NFC, near field communication, to simply hold your phone near the light to pair it. You have a long lead between the adapter to easily rig them overhead, and the adapter is easy to grip with a Kupo double combi clamp. They have a Bowens mount, so it's easy to attach a full family of Bowens mount modifiers, and everything fits neatly inside of a very compact carry bag. All in all, this is a solid offering from Godox. Easy to use and more than enough light for today's creators. Now, let's have some fun. Can you shoot videos and stills at the same time? Obviously, the answer is yes. Now for some things to consider. Your ambient light in the room should be 5 stops below your exposure settings for it to be nearly unnoticeable. But turning all room lights off or using blackout curtains is recommended. Next, simply dial your light in the same way you would strobes. With the continuous lights, it's even easier to do by eye. First, I'm going to shoot a beauty setup that would also make for a great interview or e-commerce setup. I'm going to use the Glow 8x8 collapsible frame with a single 300 bicolor light boomed over it. And then I'm going to use 2 V-flats with the 150 and 300R aimed into them and bouncing back as edge lights and to raise the exposure of our background. Here are some of the stills from the shoot, giving us this bright, high-key look, great for a jewelry ad. And here is some video from the shoot as well. Now for some quick lighting tips. I'm using the 300 by overhead because it gives me the most punch. I'm using a TRP 8x8 magic cloth, which eats up about 2.5 stops of light, but it is one of the softest diffusions you can use. I use V-flats to subtly bring up the background so it didn't go gray, but at the same time, not blow it out. I use a 39 by 62 inch glow reflector panel and sunscreen kit on the floor just to open up the shadows a bit. If I was using this lighting setup for an interview, I would simply have our subject sit down and talk to the camera. Using this 3 light setup, I'm able to still easily shoot full length, beauty, e-commerce, both photo and video, just using 3 Godox LiteMons. Now, what's the fun in having a full RGB LED if you're not going to use it? Now, I like to use color very subtly in my shoots. Let me walk you through creating these images in which I use a warm and cool light to give dimension and mood to these shots. And this video clip. For my main light, I'm using the 300 bicolor because I'm going to keep its color warm but neutral. It was set to 4300 Kelvin. Here you can see it all by itself. It's feathered off the background, so it just lights our model, and I would be happy stopping here. But as you know, there's levels to this. Next, I add my fill light. I'm using the 300R, so I have ample power going through an 8x8 frame. But I also want to add the effect I get from a Roscoe 728 steel green gel, which this light reproduced quite well. Here you can see the fill being added to the main light, giving us a nice, cool, desaturated greenish blue glow to the fill in the shadows. And here it is all by itself. Next, I add the 150 as my edge light. Here you can see it added to the main light and fill lights. It's set to 1800 Kelvin, so it's really warm. And here you can see it by itself. With just these 3 small lights, you can easily pull off shooting a mix of both stills and video and have the exact same lighting. Test driving the LiteMons was fun, and I like showing you that you can get big results using small lights. These lights were simple to use and have a cool look if you're building out a home studio to create content. And they scale up well to larger shoots if you need to use them the way I have today. If you want to see a more in-depth video about shooting both stills and video on the same set, a question we get from more and more of our clients, hit me in the comments below. Also, please check out my playlist to see over 20 videos I've created for AdoramaTV. And remember, there are levels to this. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and ring that bell to see more videos just like this on AdoramaTV.